From the meanings behind logos we see every day to secret messages of iconic paintings from the Renaissance, here are 12 famous images with hidden meanings. Number 12. The Music Lesson. As you're taking a look at this painting from Johannes Vermeer in the 1660s, you probably wouldn't notice too many strange things about it at first glance. It just shows a girl sitting down playing the piano, right? Seems innocent enough. However, some claim that this isn't quite as innocent and this painting is downright dirty. Zoom in on the mirror and you'll notice something strange. The girl isn't staring down at the piano keys, but in another direction. Also, from the angle of this painting, we kinda get the vibe that someone is secretly spying on them. Maybe there's something more than just a teacher-student relationship here. Number 11. The Goodwill Logo. You've probably driven down by a Goodwill store before donating or to make a few purchases, and you've seen their logo before. You probably just assumed it was just half a smiley face, right? Or is it? Yes, while it does kind of look like a smiley face, this is true. Let's take a look at it from another angle. Could the smiley face actually be a lowercase g the entire time? You see in the bottom also how it's used to spell the word goodwill. Number 10. The Apple Logo. Alright, so we're probably all familiar with Apple and their large variety of products, but what does their logo even mean? The current logo we see is an apple with a bite taken out of it. The bite actually needed to be placed there, otherwise it would seem to look too similar to another fruit, or even possibly a cherry. But the logo we see today is actually meant to represent scientific advancement throughout the ages. How is that possible? It's just an apple. Good question. The original logo is the one we see here, displaying Isaac Newton sitting under a tree before he made the discovery of gravity. Story has it that an apple dropped on his head before he came up with this revolutionary theory. Number 9. The Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo was certainly a genius sculptor, artist, architect, and even an anatomist. One of his most celebrated pieces of art is found in the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican City. This photo here shows the creation of Adam and is a scene from the Bible which life is given to mankind. But could there be some secret imagery here in this masterpiece? Some neuroscientists were examining the shape of the oval thing on the right side and believe it shows a very accurate depiction of a human brain. Many believe that this secret shape was thrown in there due to the Catholic Church's criticism of scientific research at the time. Number 8. Amazon.com. Amazon's logo has changed quite a bit within the past decade, but the one we see today is the most recognizable. You probably don't really notice too much of the little orange arrow from the A to the Z. This is supposed to signify the company's ability to provide you with all kinds of products. Everything from A to Z is basically what they sell, and that's what they're trying to represent with their logo. Number 7. Starbucks Coffee. Starbucks is certainly one of the most addictive brands of coffee in the world, and we probably see the logo more often than we realize. But who the heck is the woman with the long flowing hair, and what does she have to do with coffee? It's actually supposed to represent a 16th century Norse woodcut twin-tailed mermaid, according to Starbucks' website. With the founders of Starbucks being from Seattle and surrounded by the sea, something mysterious, mixed with nautical legends, seemed to work out well for the logo. They've made quite a few changes to her within the past 40 years. Could there be more about her that we don't know? Sirens were dangerous, yet beautiful creatures who would lure sailors in, causing them to crash. Maybe there's something slightly hypnotic about the logo that they don't want you to know about. Number 6. Cafe at the Terrace. This is one of Van Gogh's most celebrated paintings, and it displays a scene at the city of Arles in southern France of a cafe in the evening. But could this well-known painting be more than what meets the eye? Many historians actually believe that this is a portrayal of the Last Supper, where Jesus eats his last meal with the 12 disciples. If you count the people at this cafe, you'll notice 12 people, and the person in the middle seems to be wearing white, with long brown hair, kind of like Jesus. Is this simply a coincidence? Possibly. Or was Van Gogh trying to display a very religious scene in a seemingly non-religious painting? Many believe it wasn't simply a coincidence, since Van Gogh was actually quite religious. Number 5. Man, controller of the universe. You probably wouldn't be too surprised if you saw this painting by Diego Rivera and found out that there was some kind of hidden symbolism. It was actually made for the Rockefeller family, but they decided to destroy it since they noticed a portrayal of the communist Lenin in the photo to the right that you see here. The destruction of this beautiful piece of art caused much of an uproar within the art community. A new mural was recreated on a smaller scale in Mexico City. However, in his new one, there's said to be some ridicule towards the Rockefeller family. On the left side of this image, there seems to be one of the Rockefellers drinking a martini and possibly talking to a prostitute, some claim. Nelson's father was diagnosed with syphilis at this time, so it would have been quite the jab. Also, if you look right above his head, that's what the bacterial infection looks like under a microscope. Number 4. The Beats logo. Another image logo here we'll explain also has some hidden meanings to it. Here you see the Beats by Dre logo, which is basically just a red circle with a lowercase b on it. But it's a little bit more than just that if you look closely. The circle can actually be considered a head, and the lowercase b is in the shape of a circle too. This would leave one to believe that the B is indeed the headphones and the red circle is actually someone's head. So the whole time the logo is someone wearing the product, or close enough. Number 3. BMW. BMWs are some of the finest cars money can buy, and many people save quite a bit of money to be able to show off this logo. But do they even know what this logo actually means? It might be worth noting that BMW actually had their origins in building planes before automobiles, and the logo is believed to represent a propeller moving at high speeds. The blue represents the color of the sky in the background, and the white is a simplified design for the propeller moving. The BMW logo was introduced in 1920, and this early airplane here in the photo shows you the similarity with the logo that they're trying to portray. Number 2. Noah's Ark. We all know about the story of Noah bringing 2 of every animal into his huge ark before God sent down an enormous flood to wipe out the known world. It's been told countless times, and it ends up in children's books over and over again. 1 male and 1 female of every animal so they could repopulate the earth once the flood was over, right? Well, hold on a minute. This children's book displayed 2 lions, but there's something not quite right about this one. Both of the lions have manes, making them both male. Some debate whether this was a silly mistake made by the illustrator or if it was done on purpose to send a message about homosexuality. Others believe that they were trying to insert hidden messages about tolerance among Christians in the kids' book. But either way you look at it, the lions are going to have trouble repopulating if this is the case. And number 1, The Last Supper. One of Leonardo da Vinci's most famous works of art, known as The Last Supper, has inspired some pretty wild theories, and some even believe that he might have known something about this part of history that was kept secret. It's currently being held at Milan, and only about 20 to 25 people per year are actually able to see it in person. This makes it somewhat difficult for amateurs to actually analyze this painting. However, a controversial theory came out which discussed that the person sitting to the right of Jesus is not an apostle, but Mary Magdalene instead. As you look closely, all but a few people were sporting beards in the painting. Is it possible she was there during the Last Supper? The Last Supper has been painted many times, and by no means is this the only artist's portrayal of this famous scene in history. But what also makes this one unique from other paintings of the Last Supper before Leonardo's work was that the fact that no one has halos. Was this Leonardo's message to the people that they were simply mortals? Who knows?